Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Highway Engineering and Design class, CVX7345. Do you hear me? Can one of you respond to this?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. This is the first day school in Highway Engineering and Design, 7345 CVX. So, this is a course that has been introduced for the first time, and you all are going to follow it for the first time in our curricula. So let me give a brief introduction to the course. This course will be conducted by me. I am Professor K.S. Veerasekara, and these are optional course, as you all know, with a credit value of 3. So this is not a compulsory course anyway. This is an optional course where you can get to X category credits if you pass to get to graduation. So there are 2 blocks as usual. Block 1 and block 2 have all of you got both blocks, because I have printed both blocks. Can again one of you tell me whether you have got both block 1 and block 2 with you? Can someone tell me whether you have got it or not? Have you got block 1 at least? You haven't? If you have not, please tell me.
No, sir.
You have got it. Have you got both?
No.
Block 1 and 2, have you got both with you?
No, sir, I haven't got it.
What about block 1? Have you got your block 1?
No.
So now the books are printed. I checked it last week. So the books are in the dispatch unit. So you can go there and collect both block 1 and block 2, because it's printed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Has anyone, I mean, there are about 8 students who have logged in. So can you please tell if any other has got the block 1 and block 2? Because I want you to interact, because you all are, I mean, taking level 7 subjects. So you have to, I mean, Zoom lessons are not only one way, it has to be interactive. So I would like for you all to also to, I mean, respond to the questions that I pose. So what about the other 9 students? Now one girl has been responding with me. What about the other 9? Have you all got both books?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, right. So books are available. If you come to the naval dispatch unit, you can collect it, okay? Because I have checked and books are on print. I have got my 2 blocks with me as well. Okay.
They said they will send by courier.
Right. You can inquire, because the blocks are printed and they are in the dispatch unit. Try to get to your books before you can at least get to your block 1. Since it's printed, no point in lying there in the dispatch unit without students collecting it, because you have to start studying your block 1. Since it's printed, you can read both. Tell you, block 1 has 13 lessons altogether, and block 2 has 19 lessons, right? So block 1, I will be testing in Cat 1 based on the information in block 1. So you have to study block 1 completely, the whole 13 lessons, before you come for the Cat 1 exam. And Cat 2 exam will be based on block 2 contents. So when you come for Cat 2, you have to study block. You will be questioned from block 2 only for Cat 2. Okay. So block 1, I said there are 13 lessons. So starting with highway last lesson is road safety audits, right? So block 1 mainly covers transportation, then road development and planning, then traffic engineering and traffic management. Those are the main sections that will be covered in block 1. And block 2 will deal with highway engineering, highway design, highway management, and road pavement design. So that's how this course is composed. Okay. So if you have done your CVX4236 highway engineering course when you were at level 4, there will be some material based on highway engineering course. So I mean, if some of you have followed the highway engineering at level 4, CX4236, they will have few material will be at an advantage. This subject doesn't ask for any prerequisites. So, I mean, without any basic knowledge, you can start, and we will be, so it's a level 7 course, we will be going through the course from the basics, right? What you were supposed to learn at level 4. So, some lessons you will be again learning here in highway and engineering and design. So, I mean, don't worry if you have not done the highway engineering at level 4, because we will be starting from the scratch. Okay. So, no worries regarding that. That is the basic introduction. I said that we have 32 lessons. Highway engineering, highway design, highway management, and road pavement and construction. Okay. So when you come to continuous assessment test, right? Cat 1 will be based on block 1, as I said earlier, and Cat 2 will be completely based on block 2. And those Cat 1 and Cat 2 are compulsory. You have to, to sit both Cat 1 and Cat 2. And there will be lab classes consisting of 6 practicals. And these practicals are on 3 days, right? All of you must be having your activity scheduled by now. Though you have not got a printout, hard copy, it's available in the faculty website. So you know the program, highway engineering and design is how it's being conducted, and the dates, important dates, at the exam dates, then the day school dates, and the laboratory dates. Since I have seen the practicals are at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, somewhere in November or so. So when you come to the practicals, as I said, there will be 6 practicals that will be conducted during 3 days. So it's compulsory that you have to come for all 3 days for the practicals and carry out these 6 practicals, right? In the university laboratory, which is situated in block 1 and in the block 3, block 1 and S&T building. So, in the second day school, I will explain what are the practicals that will be done, because there's some time for you to get involved with the practicals. The important thing is, if you are employed, when you come to level 7, most of you must be employed. You have to, you can't skip the practicals. You have to come for the practicals. So, and carry out those tests, those assigned tests by you, and submit the lab reports, right? Submission of lab reports is very important, especially since these lab classes are towards the end of the year, right? You will have, little time. Anyway, we will give you more than 10 days to 14 days to prepare your lab reports and submit it. And I'm telling, I'm very specific about the deadlines, right? If you don't submit the lab reports within the deadlines given to you, which it will be given to you during lab classes, we are not going to mark your lab reports. So if you don't get marks for your lab reports. However, when you do the CAT 1 and CAT 2, you are not going to get eligibility because lab component is compulsory. And as you know, those are the compulsory activities. Sitting for CAT 1, sitting for CAT 2, and the 3 days of practicals, carrying out the practicals and submitting the lab reports. Then the optional parts are the day schools. There will be 3 day schools, starting with today's day school number 1. And after CAT 2, I think according to the schedule, day school 2 and 3 will be conducted. So before CAT 1, you will be having only this day school. So it's important that you follow this day school. And if there is anybody who was not able to log in today, anyway, this day school will be recorded and it will be uploaded in Learn OUSL, where you can later refer it. And if you, if you, in any case, you want to, follow this lecture again, since it will be uploaded in Learn OUSL, you can revisit and you can, again, listen to this day school if you want, right? So attending day schools is very important, and because what I say is that day schools are important. Why is it day schools are important? You all should know, because since you are line level 7 now, right? So this is the opportunity that you get to meet the lecturer, right? And if you have, logged in, we can discuss anything, because always I like to be interactive. Anytime you can stop me during the day school. If there is anything that you want to get clarification, or if I'm not clear what I said, you can tell me, right? You have to tell me, because I don't like just only myself keeping on talking without getting a feedback from you. So I need that feedback. If the volume is less, if you can't hear me, if you want a certain section re-explain, so please tell me, right? So I will respond to it. So that is one of the reasons. Then the other reason is you get to know the other students. So unfortunately, due to this COVID situation and for a crisis in the country, we are having these day schools completely online. Normally, if you could have been much better if we could have had it face to face as well, because having meeting us face to face, that gives the opportunity for us to discuss any problems, any areas, right? And among yourself, you come to know each other who are doing the same subject. So that is also, very good coming to know the other students and meeting them during the day schools, because then we all can have discussions, any areas where you have to get explain, you all can meet and get discuss, and you all can discuss with me as well. So that's why I say day schools are important. And you get exposed to the subject knowledge when you attend the day school. And we also can exchange our experience about the subject. Now, some of you must be working in highway organizations, right? Like road development authority, provincial road development authority, or maybe with a contractor in a highway construction site, or maybe in a construction expressway site, freeway site. So you must be having a lot of experience, which even I don't have. So when you come to the day schools, we can share and share this experience, your experience with me, and whatever the experience that I have, I can share with you. So that is the importance of attending day schools. It is not only for this subject, for any subject, physically attending day schools or be interactive if it's online. So then only that can be shared. If you just keep silent, the knowledge, it will be difficult to share, right? Okay, that's about the day schools. Then about the CATs, right? CAT exams, as you all know, it will be 1 hour and 15 minutes. that is 75-minute duration, right? This time we will, since this COVID pandemic is over, we are going to have the CAT exams physically, where you come to the exam hall and write the question paper. Unlike last year, of course, because of the pandemic, we couldn't have the CATs properly, and it was online. So this year we are not going to have it. It will be physical, right? So CAT paper, if I give you a brief introduction, both CAT papers will be only 75-minute duration, and there will be 20 short answer questions where you have to answer within the question paper itself. So space will be provided. So you have to give a good answer to the asked question within that space provided, right? We don't want lengthy explanations, but the basic required answer should be there given within the given space. Okay, so there will be 20 questions. All 20 questions will be compulsory, no optional questions. Then once you sit both to a CAT 1 and CAT 2, and once you complete your lab work, and if you have passed your lab work, you have to get a minimum of 40 marks for your practicals. Get the 40 marks, however well you get do your 2 days course, you are not going to get the eligibility. So to get the eligibility, passing labs is compulsory, and the eligibility will be calculated based on the average of the CAT 1 and CAT 2. You average your CAT 1 mark and the CAT 2 mark, and it will be multiplied by a weightage factor of 0.6, right? 60% for CAT 1 and CAT 2 average mark, and another 40%, a weightage of 40% for the average lab work. So you do 6 practicals and it will be average, and that average mark will be given a weightage of 40%. It will be multiplied by 0.4. The eligibility will be calculated. So I hope all of you will get to eligibility this year, and that's how the eligibility is calculated. And these calculations are how it's being calculated. The eligibility, it's given you activity diary, right? So you can refer to your activity diary. The final exam, then once you get to eligibility, final exam as usual, I mean, you know, it's a 3-hour written paper, right? There will be 8 questions will be given to you based from block 1 and block 2, and you have to answer any 5 out of 8. Any 5 you have to answer, and all the 8 questions will carry equal marks. That's how the final exam paper will be structured. Then about the Learn Now USA, right? Have all of you logged in? I mean, have accounts with the Learn Now USA? Have you logged in?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I expect all of you to, I mean, have your accounts in to log into Learn Now USL, because all the information I will be giving through the Learn Now USL regarding day school links, then supplementary educational material. Even block 1, if you have not got it, right? Your Learn Now USL, I have uploaded a PDF copy of your block 1 and block 2. So immediately after today's day school, I mean, those who have, since you have not got a hard copy with you, right? You can download the PDF version from Learn Now USL and start studying block 1, because today you have to study block 1. It's too early to start from block 2, right? So you can today itself read block 1. Once you have the Learn Now USL account with you, once you can log into Learn Now USL. And in Learn Now USL, I have given again a student instruction sheet I have uploaded for you to, I mean, get how the Learn Now USL access. So if you have a friend who has not got USL access, you can show that PDF version to your friend, and the person can log in. The procedure is given there. And even with that, if there is still any problem, what you have to do is you have to go and meet Dr. Geeta Kulasurya in the set meet. She is the one who is, uploading the students into the Learn USA. Not only in highway engineering and design, any subject, if we have not got access to Learn USA, you have to sort it out with Dr. Geeta Kulasurya at set meet. Okay. So constantly you be touch with the Learn USL, because all the material, everything now, even today's day school, once it's over, I will upload it to the Learn USL for you to revisit, or if anybody who has missed the day school today, the person can follow it. So that is about Learn USL. So having accounts in Learn USL is very important for all the subjects. Then in Learn USL, I have given you some assignment questions. Those are self-answered questions, self-assessment questions, right? You can go through those answers, right? Through your course material and supplementary material that have been provided. And you can yourself, you can assess, right? So assignments are not compulsory. You don't have to submit the assignments for us to correct. It's for as a self-assessment check. Assignments are given. That's about a brief introduction to highway engineering and design. So I would like, what I have been talking so far, is it clear to you? Have all of you understood? And if you have anything to ask from me at this stage, please ask me. If you have any questions, you can, now it's the time for you to ask. No questions? Then I'll try to take you through briefly on the lessons in, right? If you had the hard copy with you, it would have been better. But anyway, you can read it since you have the PDF first. So lesson 1 is on highway development. So in this lesson, we are talking about how the roads were developed from primitive days, right? At the very early days, when we didn't have any vehicles or carts or carriages, right? People used to, walk on tracks, right? Again, Adibarawal. So people used to go from point A to point B on those footpaths or tracks. Then little by little, they start to take animals with them. They start to tie their goods on animals' backs and lead them along those tracks. So those tracks are mostly, they are taken along contours because it's easy to walk along contours. But there were some tracks where you didn't have contours, where you had to climb steep sections, right? With sometimes with heavy goods and all. I'm talking about very primitive days. Then after inventing the wheel, carts were developed. So people used to carry goods through carts, right? So carts, they used to, at the very beginning, they used to either push or pull. Then they thought that they can tame animals like bullocks, right? And or horses, this type of strong animals where those animals can be tamed, would be used to pull those carts. So once the carts started to move, so cars had wheels, so you need something better than the footpaths. So some kind of better roads, some kind of better paths have to be developed. Then once horses were used for this purposes, horses are quicker than uh, bullocks and those other animals. So you could have a little bit faster running cars, or we call chariots. People were taken from place to place. So when those horse carts were used or chariots were used, so they needed better roads, right, with strong pavements, because otherwise those wheels can get bogged in those pavements, and animals will find it difficult to pull the cart because it's gets stuck in, especially in rainy seasons and all. So this highway pavement development is discussed at various stages, how it was uh, transformed from a very primitive footpath to modern day carriageway. Lesson number 1. So when you read lesson number 1, you get a good idea how the roads were developed from the initial primitive days. Okay. So now roads are classified according to their structure and location and function and their importance, and the traffic that are running on it, and the amount of goods that are being carried on those roads. So roads are being classified. Now, if there's somebody looking in RDA or PRDA, they know roads have been classified into 5 classes, right? The first class is called A class roads. A class roads, then B class roads. Then you have C, D, and E. So A and B class roads are maintained by the constructed and maintained by the Road Development Authority. So C, D, and E class roads are looked after by provincial road development authorities and by local government agencies. And on top of this, we have the new expressways. That's another the best class of roads. All of you have traveled in expressways or freeways, right? They are the roads. They are coming under a separate management, a branch of the Road Development Authority. Those are the expressways. So with the expressways, we have altogether 6 classes. Expressways, then class A roads. Class A roads are like Colombo High Level Road or Colombo Woodland Road or Colombo Candy Road, Colombo Ball Road, not the expressways, the other roads like A1, A2, A3, like that, they have been classified. Okay, everybody knows A1 is Colombo Candy Road. Similarly, A2, that is A2. A2 is Colombo Ball Road. Right? Then A3, Colombo Woodland Road. A4, High Level Road, like that. Roads are classified. So lesson number 1 is on that, right? So you read it, and since we have only limited time, I'm not going to elaborate much more, deliberate more time on one lesson. I'll try to cover as much as possible in block 1 during this day's course, because I did not get an opportunity again to deal with block 1 before that one. Then lesson number 2 is on highway planning. So highway, now once the roads are, highways are roads, right? Once the roads are developed, right? If you are doing a road network for a new city, how the road should be planned. So preparation of a master plan. In this lesson, how the different patterns of road networks are being discussed, like block pattern, hexagonal pattern, radial pattern. Different types of road patterns are discussed in this lesson in designing road networks for a city or a town. So go through that, you will understand different preparation of master plans, how the master plans are being developed on road network projects, right? So lesson 2 is not, there's not much When you read, you will get an understanding. Then lesson 3, highway alignment and project formulation. Now highways, right? Highways means roads, right? Highways means not freeways, right? Roads, generally roads. Whether it's A, B, or C class roads. Right? So in lesson 3, this alignment. If you are designing a road from A to B, you have to have an alignment for this road. You can't just have a straight line connecting A and B. So depending on the ground terrain, right, contour conditions, then other obstacles like streams or lakes, your highway alignment has to be done accordingly. Now, if there's a lake, you can't just go across the lake and connect point A with point B. You have to take it around the lake, right? So there may be streams or rivers which you have to cross. Then you have to have bridges, construct structures. So constructing structures, you have to be, you can't cost very expensive structures. So you have to be mindful about the cost of the structure. So sometimes the road network will have to be further deviated rather than going through the process connecting two points. So that type of things are discussed in lesson number 3, how the road alignments are being done. And when you are doing road alignments, one of the major things is the survey, right? Initial, how the road trace has to be done by surveyors. So when you are doing surveying for road project, right, when you are putting a trace, how the center line of that road trace should be taken based on the ground conditions and surrounding. Now, if there's a huge rock, which the rock blasting will be very expensive, or rock piercing and making a tunnel through the rock is very expensive. And if the project doesn't have that amount of money, you have to take the road without, I mean, you can't take the road through the rock, right? You have to take it around the rock. So then you have to take, I mean, follow the contours, the base contours, how to be aligned. So those things are discussed in this lesson, right? Highway alignment. So those are about the highway development and highway alignment, and the survey involved in constructing a new road and the town plan. So first 3 lessons deal with that. Now, do you have any problems or any questions that you have to ask at this stage? Now we have come to landmark point where I can discuss the things that we have already explained. Whether if you have any problems, I can further elaborate. Do you have anything to ask from me? If you have no questions, we'll go to the next section, right? On traffic. Lesson number 4 is on traffic flow, right? Lesson 4 onwards about traffic. Now, once you construct the road, what will be there on the road? You construct a road for traffic to move, right? Because since there's traffic can be either pedestrian traffic, people may be walking along the roads, or it may be vehicles, motor bicycles, three-wheelers, buses, lorries, whatever, heavy trucks. So all those are vehicles. So those vehicles, except the pedestrians, right? Pedestrians are humans. So other, even including a bicycle, is a kind of a traffic, right? Cycle traffic. So all those different modes of traffic has to be accommodated on the road. So there's a great mix of different types of traffic that has to be accommodated on the design road. So lesson 4 is discussing about this traffic flow. So this traffic flow, there are basic features in a traffic flow. Like you can have interrupted traffic and uninterrupted traffic. The main difference between interrupted and uninterrupted, as the word suggests. Now, in a freeway, you have uninterrupted traffic between two interchanges because there are no interruptions. There are no parked vehicles or there are no vehicles entering onto the road from driveways or side shopping areas, right? And there are no pedestrians crossing the road. So the traffic is moving uninterrupted. It's a free flow. So that is uninterrupted traffic flow. When you say interrupted traffic flow, if you consider the road stretch between Nugegoda town to Naval Open University, which all of you are familiar with, just see that's a typical interrupted traffic flow. Why you say interrupted? You can't drive a vehicle at a constant speed from Nugegoda to Open University because you have to stop the vehicle. The vehicle will have to be stopped invariably due to various reasons. There may be pedestrians crossing the road. There may be slow vehicles on the road. There can be vehicles parked by the side of the road and entering into the road. So then you have to slow down, give way for them. Then there are buses which will be stopped at bus stalls or buses taking off from bus stalls, right? All of a sudden there may be a jaywalker. Jaywalker means a pedestrian walking on the road, right? So like that, there are so many interruptions. So that's why you say the flow is interrupted. It's not like in an expressway between two interchanges. Now at an interchange also, there's an interruption because you have the vehicles coming through the interchange and getting onto the freeway. So that's a kind of interruption. So around interchanges, you have interrupted traffic flow, but not to a greater extent, right? It's almost like uninterrupted if the expressway is not heavily traffic, right? If it's heavily traffic, of course, definitely it's an interruption. But if it's not heavily traffic, so it will be even around the intersection, it will be an uninterrupted flow. So that is the difference between interrupted and uninterrupted. So then about the traffic flow direction, right? There are one lane, one way roads. Then two lane, one way roads. Two lane, two way roads. And multi lane, one way roads. These are explained in your book. So go through it and it will give you diagrams and schematic diagrams and pictures of these different types of flows. And how the vehicle movements, car following, lane changing. If you are driving a vehicle, right, you can just follow another vehicle. The vehicle that's in front of you, you can follow it without trying to overtake, right? So that's car following. Then lane changing. If you want to overtake or if you want to change the lane, you have to cut across the lane path and do the lane changing. Then overtaking, then merging. If you are merging onto a lane, you have to merge. Then diverging, weaving, then queuing, right? Near a traffic light, you are queuing the vehicles, right? The vehicles are in a queue, right? It's called queuing. At the intersections, there traffic signals are there. So these things are explained with figures and all that, which I am unable to show it to you through the Zoom class, right? Anyway, go through this, and there are a lot of fine PowerPoint slides and all in the Learn yourself, which I have uploaded. You can go through them carefully and get an idea about what I am talking at the moment, right? So those are about traffic flows. Then the next lesson, lesson number 5 is on traffic surveys. Why traffic surveys? Traffic surveys are important when you are designing roads. When you are designing a new road, or if you are doing a widening an existing road, or if you are rehabilitating a road, right? You have to carry out traffic surveys. There are different types of traffic surveys which has to be conducted depending on the development that you are going to plan. So these different types of traffic surveys are discussed in this lesson number 5, right? Uh, how these surveys are conducted. Please go through this and get an idea, right? There are traffic counts which you have to conduct, right? To get an idea about what is the flow of this road. Then you have to count the number of vehicles passing in a particular time slot. Within 1 hour, how many vehicles, how many cars go through that road, how many three vehicles, how many bicycles, heavy trucks, buses, like that. So you have to physically count. Or you can manually, without manually count, you can have automatic traffic counters uh, set across the road, and the counts can be done through automatic traffic recorders. Right? All of you would have seen sometimes when you are going on road, you see a rubber tube put across the road, and there's a small computerized gadget at the end of the road tied to a lamp post or something where the traffic is being recorded. When a vehicle passes over the rubber tube, it counts as one and it's being recorded in a tiny microprocessor which is tied to the lamp post. Right? So without physically count, you can count through traffic recorders or automatic recording machines. Then there are speed surveys, right? Roads will have different speeds. Then speeds can be measured with different ways, like radar guns and all. You see police, if you are overspeeding, all of you have seen they have a speed gun. With the speed gun, you can record the speed of that vehicle, right? So those vehicles inside have speedometers where the speeds can be recorded. So those things are discussed in this lesson. Lesson number 5. Then lesson number 6 is on geometric design, right? How the road geometry is being designed. How the transition curves, then the road curves, right? How the road camber is being, what are the gradients, all these are discussed in lesson number 6. Then lesson number 7 is on intersections. Right? Intersections are places where two roads cross each other. They are called intersections. When two roads cross, it can be a roundabout, it can be a traffic light, signalized junction, or it can be just stop and give away junction. So those junctions are called intersections. Then in between intersections, the straight portions are called mid blocks. The road between one intersection and another intersection is called a mid block. So those intersections, then different types of intersections. You have roundabout, you have traffic lights, right? Signalized intersections. Then you have center median island arrangements. These things are discussed in this lesson. Lesson 7. So in the meantime, now we have discussed a lot of things, right? Do you have any questions to ask? If you had read the block 1 before coming to the day school, since it was available in the PDF version, and if you had any problems, you can ask. Now is the time for me to help you if you have any question. Otherwise, we continue. Lesson number 8 is on traffic control, right? Since you have traffic on the roads, they have to have proper controlling on the roads, because otherwise, if the traffic starts to go just randomly, there can be accidents. There can be pedestrian accidents with pedestrians, then accidents between vehicles or cyclists, which can be very dangerous and very harmful. So the safety has to be Safety is one of the most important things on a road. When you design the road, you have to make sure the traffic is properly controlled on the road. If traffic is not controlled, then accidents do happen. Then it's a bad design. So it's not the right thing. Safety is the most important thing. You can't allow people to lose their limbs or people to get killed on roads. So traffic safety has to be very strictly ensured on a design road, whether it's a rehabilitated road or whether it's an improved road or whether it's a new road. Traffic design got to be there properly for the safety to be ensured. Then lesson number 9 is on parking. Right? Vehicles have to be parked because vehicles are not all the time moving. So vehicles, when they are parked, when people come for shopping and various business purposes or official purposes, we have to have parking allocations for vehicles. Right? So in this lesson, different types of parking allocation and different types of parking bays are discussed. There are a lot of pictures given in this sketches and figures given in this lesson. Go through them, and if you have any problem, you can ask me. Right? Any explanation, I will try to help you. So lesson 9 is on parking. Then lesson 10 on traffic signs and road markings. Right? Road markings are very important, and road signs. The road signs gives you the instructions how to drive a vehicle or how to walk along the road, on the side of the road, or cycle, ride a cycle on the road. So those traffic instructions are very important for road users. You have to obey the traffic instructions given along the road, whether it's traffic signs or whether it's carriageway markings. Carriageway markings are the white color or yellow color marks on the road drawn on the carriageway of the road. Carriageway is the road the section where the vehicles travel. Right? So you have lane marking, then double lines, single lines, then directions are indicated, then things like junction boxes are indicated on the roads at intersections or important entry points. So those markings, the meaning of those road markings and intersections, any road user should follow to the maximum. In this lesson, different types of road signs, warning signs, then regulatory signs, then information signs are given. You have to have a good idea about the road signs and carriageway markings, right? Then lesson number 11 is on road safety and accident analysis. As I said earlier, road safety is the prime important part of a functioning road. If the road is not safe, better you avoid that road. Right? So in this lesson, how the road safety can be ensured is discussed. So road safety means the road has to be properly designed, and at the same time, the road users have to abide by the road regulations, the rules and regulations which are expecting from that when you are driving a vehicle on that particular stretch of road. It is on road safety and street lighting. Street lighting is very important. Roads have to be properly illuminated for drivers to see when they are driving at night. Any hazards, obstacles, they should see clearly in advance. So they have the vehicles have their headlights. That's a different thing. But at the same time, the roads also have to be illuminated. Then only you see the people who are trying to cross roads. Then people, black color trousers and t-shirts who are trying to cross the road at night, which is very dangerous if the road is not properly illuminated. So street lighting, how these street lamps should be planted, right? There are different layouts of street lighting that has to be carried out in designing a road. Then about road crossings. Road crossings are very important. People cross the road, pedestrians cross the roads at road crossings. So those road crossings have to be well illuminated and should be very clearly seen by the drivers. Road crossing because you get people crossing the road. So lesson 13, the last lesson, is on road safety audits. When you do a road construction, right? Whether it's a rehabilitation or a road widening or whether it's a new road, road safety audits have to be carried out before it's being open for traffic, before it's being open for public. So in this lesson, why road safety audits are important, how it should be carried out, is being discussed at detail. So those are the 13 lessons that is being covered in block 1. Now I will try to take you through some slides, PowerPoint presentations, which I have made. Okay, you can see those slides. We have been talking a lot. I also like to show you some pictures for you to get a better understanding what we have been talking. So before going to the slides, do you have anything to ask? Again, I'm giving you the opportunity. Any clarifications? Anything you have to ask regarding anything? No questions? Okay. I'll just share the screen. By the way, do you still hear me? Do you hear?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. So, taking time. Right. Do you now hear me and do you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
You see the slide as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let me ask you a question. What is transport? Now, at the very beginning itself, we were talking about transport in the first lesson. So what is transport? So transport is travel from point A to point B. Right? Anything. Point A can be Colombo, point B can be Jaffna, or point B can be Kandy, point A can be Katunayaka, whatever. When you have to travel from A to B, it's called transport. So all that is transport, right? In very brief. So transport can be done in different modes. So it can be done this way now. He's walking across crossing a stream. The big river is in, I think, in Thailand. It's in Thailand or somewhere. I think I'm not sure. Right? These people are traveling from point A, from that side to this side, through this suspension bridge. And you see they are carrying children, they are carrying big baskets on their back with heavy goods. All these transport. Now these again, old what we call dola in Sinhala, right? People carrying, rich people being carried by their servants. Right? Again, now these are bullock cart, some old picture. So there is transporting, right? Something is being transported from somewhere, from some point A to some point B. Different modes now. There's a trishaw, right? Again, we had trishaws about 60, 70 years back. Now we don't see them. So people are being moved from point to point. So these are trishaws. Right? I go through them quickly. Now these are also another mode of transport, like along the river. I will just take all these transport, right? We'll go to the next slide. All these slides are available in your Learn Now USL. You can go through them leisurely after the day school. So, an introduction to traffic engineering. You see, I mean, this a very heavy intersection, right? Traffic engineering. What is traffic engineering? What, why, and how? What is traffic engineering? Is it planning? Is it design? Is it management? Is it all? Plan, design, operate, and monitor. Then what else? Right? Then operate again, right? Then monitor again for the new traffic conditions. Then if the design doesn't work, you can end up with accidents. So it will be people's lives that will be lost. So what goes into traffic design? If you don't do a proper traffic design, then what happens is accidents. So when you have to do a proper traffic design, what are the things that you have to make sure? Design standards, design guidelines, right? Then engineering judgments, proper engineering judgments have to be made to do a good design. Then your experience, if you have worked for a number of years in a traffic or a road agency, your experience matters a lot, right? Experience and judgment about people, how people behavior. Then weather patterns, right? If it's a road that will be designed in a snowing area, will be different from a hot area, right? In a desert area or in a hilly mountainous terrain, it will be different from a coastal area. So you have to take account of all these things. So traffic engineering is a multidimensional thing. There's an art of getting it right. It involves experience, understanding, judgment. So actually now even through this course, what we are trying to gain is experience, understanding, and judgment. That is the purpose of this day's course. These are early roads. You see, trams and all, right? Then this is one of the earliest intersections where you have two roads crossing each other. So the name boards are given. This in UK. somewhere in 1800s. Those days, the things were so simple. We didn't have so many vehicles on the roads. We didn't have so many people on the roads. No heavy vehicles. So intersections were very simple. Then at the intersections, you have road signs to have proper traffic management. Then is a leisurely intersection, right? Not a very busy intersection in a residential area where things are not that crowded. So this is another mid-block. Mid-block means a road section in between two intersections with parking bays at the side where you have shopping malls on the two sides, a lot of shops on the two sides of the roads. So parking is allowed on side lanes and the middle lanes, two lanes are for the moving traffic. So this is ideal shopping area traffic management system. Then these are the type of signs that you have to have. Parking, 24-hour parking, etc. What is essentials? If we do nothing, what do we need to do? No. What do we need to do? Right? So you can have roads without traffic signs. Then if the traffic conditions are very low, yes, that is acceptable. But if the traffic conditions are high, then we should know what to do. What are the remedial measures that we have to take to accommodate and to control this heavy traffic on the road. Then you have to have a knowledge about the understand the user's human factors, design vehicles, right? The capabilities of vehicles. Then in capabilities means the engine powers, the maximum speeds, etc. Then collect enough appropriate information to analyze. You have to analyze. To analyze, you have to get information. Then there has to be standards and guidelines. Then out on the roads, right? A capable road network, the road hierarchy. Now you see in this picture, you have a main freeway running across the road, right? Then you have, we were talking about A, B, and C class roads. Then you have A class road going across. Then probably the residential roads where houses are situated, right? So this picture shows the different classes of roads depending on the importance. Now this freeway has very fast vehicles and very fast, right? Now these roads will have vehicles not that fast within certain speed limit. Then intersections. At the intersections, you have to have these road signs to give the instructions for the drivers. Then speed management. That's another important thing. Depending on the size and the class of the road, we have to have speed limits, depending on whether it's urban and non-urban. Speed limitations. Then out of the road, right? Things like drainage has to be incorporated. When you design a road, you can't just stop with designing the road alone. You have to have drainage system also designed in parallel to the road design. Otherwise, safety will be affected. Then parking controls, right? How roadside parking could be accommodated. Then giveaway signs, maintenance of vehicles, right? These are some of the road signs. We were talking about carriageway signs. Now these are carriageway signs. Because the sign is marked on the carriageway. And this is another carriageway, this continuous line separating the two lanes. It's a carriageway mark. Then these are road signs. These are informative signs where information on the different road names, then what those roads are leading to, the towns, main towns, etc. are given. A lot of information is provided. These are called information signs. Signs. These are regulatory signs. Right? Vehicles are regulated by these signs. Traffic management to be successful. So if we are implementing a traffic management scheme, that management scheme to be successful, you have to have these factors. Must take place in policy framework, cover a considerable area of route. Objectives must be formulated consistent with the overall policy framework. Then agreed and clearly stated before implementation. Must be implemented. Authorities should be serious, right? Authorities have to be serious. And now only giving conditions is not enough. If the management is not proper, management is not serious, then things are not going to happen. Then at the same time, the road users, the other pedestrians and the drivers, they have to be serious, right? If they don't care, the signs and traffic management schemes that have been introduced on that particular road network, then it's not going to work properly. These are the objectives, right, for a traffic management scheme. Then general principles, impact and quality. You can go through these, right, leisurely. They are available with the study material. We'll see some traffic control devices. For traffic controlling, you have to have different devices, right? We'll see what those devices are in this series of slides. Now, this is a roundabout, a small roundabout, right? You have vehicles entering the roundabout. So, this is a traffic management, a tool which we have used. This is a tool which shows what the drivers to do at the intersection. It indicates that there's an intersection and there's a giveaway line, right? So when you approach the intersection, this roundabout, the drivers are aware before entering that there's a roundabout, and you have to give way. That information is given through this traffic management tool. Then again, another kind of traffic management, traffic control devices. Here, it's a parking area. This lane marking is being done. Then center islands are there. All these are traffic management tools, right? You have signs, traffic signals, pavement markings like this. These are pavement markings. Traffic signs, here you have traffic signs, information signs, etc. Then traffic signals, you can have intersections with signalized lights. Then traffic islands, these are called traffic islands here at the center median, right, for the safety of the crossing pedestrians. So all these traffic devices should be erected with the approval of the road authority. Then some other here speed sign. This indicates that you can't go more than 60 kilometers per hour, the maximum speed that you have to maintain. Then the name of the road, here Churchill Road, right? The name of the road is given. Then how you have to behave on the carriageway, the lane marking, the center median which you are not supposed to cut across, right? The two lane separation. Then since this is an intersection, the drivers coming from the side road, that is a continuous line, which means you have to stop the vehicle and see the gap and then enter the main road. That kind of information is provided through these traffic control devices or signs. Then another type of sign, right? Information sign. Now these are information. Now when you enter the names of the towns that you can go through these roads. When you go straight, what is the town that you are passing, nearest main town? On your left, what are the main towns that you come across? Then other information like you can have refreshing areas where you have toilets, facilities. Then petrol, if you want to refuel your vehicle, petrol stations are available. Then if you want to take a small break, a cup of coffee or have a snack, you can have that. That kind of information is given. So these are different types of traffic signs: regulatory, warning, information and guideline signs, temporary signs. Now these are regulatory signs. Regulatory means you regulate the traffic. Now these are maximum speed on this road, 110 kilometers per hour. Then stop sign. You are entering a main road, so you have to stop the vehicle before entering. You have to see whether the road is safe for you to put your vehicle onto the road. Then these are signs which are used in our country, right? Regulatory signs used to regulate no entry, no left turns, no right turns, no U-turns, right? You have to have, if you are a driver, you have to have a good idea about the meaning of these traffic signs. I might ask questions in your exams regarding the meaning of these signs. So you have to know very well what these traffic signs, the local traffic signs means. Then again, some other traffic warning signs, right? Which this says there's a bend to the right hand side bend. So maximum speed is 30 kilometers because you will not be able to negotiate your vehicle if you go faster than 30 kilometers per hour. So these are warning sign. It gives a warning. Don't go beyond 30 kilometers, you are at risk. Then again, another warning sign. There's a pedestrian crossing with small children, with parents maybe crossing a school or a nursery in front of you. So you are warned. You are warned, be careful, be cautious. Right? This is another kind of warning. There's a roundabout in front of you. Be careful. Those are warning signs. Then danger warning signs, right? These are our local warning signs, right? There's a railway gate or unprotected railway crossing. This railway crossing doesn't have protection. So you have to be extremely careful. You don't know whether there's a train, approaching train or not. Then there are cyclists, or there may be herds of cows, right? So be careful. Then you should know the meanings of all these traffic signs, right? It's very important. If you are driving vehicles, then also you will need a good knowledge of these traffic signs. Even otherwise, all the road users should know the meaning of all these signs. These are different. Then information signs, right? Patragam is only 19 kilometers, or Malane Airport is on this direction. Like that, information signs. Then traffic signs used in Sri Lanka, right? Okay, cycle lanes, no buses, right, on this lane. Bus only lane ends where you have bus lanes. When you have this sign, it means only bus lane, that's the end of it. And after that, there will be vehicles as well on that particular lane. Then bus also. These are things that you have seen, but only things you should know the meanings very well. Again, some other traffic control devices. Then carriageway markings. Right? What are the meanings of these carriageway markings? You have to have good understanding. Then parking signs. Right? Traffic control parking. Traffic signals. Now, all must be aware about these signals. If you have the red means stop. Wait behind the stop line, right? If you have the red light, you have to stop the vehicle. You are at the intersection and you are not supposed to go through the intersection on red light. If you have the red and yellow together, means stop, but get ready to move. Because now it's get ready to move with your engines on, right? Next you will get the green light. So when you get the green light, green means proceed through the intersection carefully, right? Yellow means stop. You can enter the intersection if you are so close to the sudden brake without sudden braking, right? You have the green light, then after that green light goes off and it comes yellow before the red. So when you have the yellow, if you are coming at a speed, right, don't suddenly stop the vehicle because you might end up with a hit from your back, right? There will be another vehicle coming and hitting on you. So when you have the yellow, you can proceed, right? Because still it's not red. When you have this arrangement one, So straight vehicles you can't go, right? It's straight. But right turns you can, because it's free. So these different alternatives you should know. Again, this means straight vehicles can go, but no right turns. Because right turns you have red. Here, this is now off. This is green. Then straight vehicles can go. Turning right, you can, if there's a gap, you can cross. If there's no gap, then of course you have to wait. So you may go straight or turn right if you can find a safe gap on the incoming flow. Remember that priority is for the oncoming vehicles, right? If you are to turn right, if there are no oncoming vehicles only, you can turn right and you can go through the intersection. If there are vehicles, always the priority is for the oncoming vehicles on the opposite direction, on the main road. Now, amber flashing. If you see the amber light or yellow light flashing, that means, right, you can, vehicle movements are temporarily not controlled by traffic lights. Be careful and observe a normal traffic. You have seen this scenario on our roads. Sometimes you have these amber lights flashing. Then the system is not working. You have to judge depending on the oncoming vehicles. You judge and you can cross or do whatever safely. Right? There's no priority for anybody. It's up to you to decide when the amber is flashing like this. What does flashing red light means? Flashing red light means flashing red alternative flashing lights are provided at railway crossings and fire stations, etc. If they are flashing, you must stop. You have to stop the vehicle if they are flashing, right? So when you have signals, placing signal traffic lights have to be very done in a very careful manner, because if you confuse the drivers by having too many lights or having not not having them at the proper places, it will be a bad thing rather than controlling. See, if you happen to see a traffic light like this, you don't know what it is, right? So I mean, it's just as a, just to show you, you have to design the traffic lights properly. Just otherwise, just blinking different colors of lights are not going to serve any purpose. Then we were talking about lane discipline, right? So vehicles have to drive within lanes. Then only there will be no unnecessary chaos on the road. Right? So sudden, if you see a gap and if you try to cross the road, then it will create unnecessary stress on the road, right? You should not do this. And if you see, in Sri Lanka, this is very common, right? You see you are on this lane, you see a gap, you cross the road, especially three-wheelers. And so these actually you are worsening the traffic signal. These are on the middle of the lane, you have motorcycles and three-wheelers, which is not supposed to, not the correct thing to do. What happens when you have a three-wheeler? You have a third lane operating automatically. Then, it will create a hazardous condition where accident threat is high. Now, normally, this lane, the curb side lane or out lane is for slower vehicles like heavy trucks, scooters, and motorcycles. For faster cars, and now you have the center lane. This is the fast lane and this is the slow lane. About roundabout, you will see some roundabout varieties. What is a roundabout? In the roundabouts, right? This is how the vehicles will be operating. It is a circular road with only left turns allowed. Shall we go back to the previous slide? It's a left. It's a circular road with only left turns allowed. See, this is a circular road, a roundabout. Only left turns are allowed, no right turns. Only left turns. Right? It allows you to pass through a junction safely. It makes you to slow down when passing a junction for improving safety. What you have to do when you approach a single lane roundabout? Now this is a single lane roundabout because only you have one lane approaching the roundabout from all the roads, all the four legs of the intersection. Indicate the left signal, right? 50 meters before approaching the roundabout. Stay towards the left when approaching. If you are turning left, this is the proper way of approaching the roundabout. With left signal on. If you do not need, if you are going straight, then of course you don't have to indicate with your signal lines. So you can, just you go straight. You are having hazard lights, right? That's wrong. See, it is commonly seen on our roads when you are approaching a roundabout. If you are intent to go straight, you are having the hazard lights. Hazard lights are not to indicate that to go straight. Hazard means there's some defect in my vehicle, or I have a problem in my vehicle. So then only you have the hazard light on for people to understand that there is something in this vehicle, something wrong. You have to be careful, right? So if you are approaching a roundabout and if you are intending to go straight, having hazard lights it's wrong. So if you are going to do a right turn, then again before 50 meters indicate the right side signals, right? Saying that you are going to turn right. And roundabouts have to be designed. There are minimum design standards that you have to when you are designing a roundabout, right? This slide shows that roundabouts just you don't have a circle at the middle and have the roundabout. You have to design it properly. There are certain guidelines. This is only an indication to show you that roundabouts have to be designed. There are specific standards for everything in a roundabout. These are some roundabouts, like single lane roundabouts. Here. We were talking about single lane roundabouts. These are two lane roundabouts, right? Now the difference is all the approaching roads have two lanes, right? Here two lanes. When turning left, in a two lane roundabout, if you are turning left, you have to come on this lane, left side lane, with the signal lights on, right? And that's when turning left. When going straight, then of course you can use both lanes, right? You don't have to indicate with signals, right? You can come like this and go straight. What about when you're turning right? When you are turning right, then of course you have to come on the center lane, right? With the signals on from about distance of about 50 meters, like earlier. It is for left turns, and you come on the center lane, and here you enter onto the center lane only. Come on the center lane and enter the center lane. If you cut across like this, then it's wrong. This is an example of a two-lane roundabout here. For turning left, only this lane. But this same lane can go straight as well. Again, here you can go, center lane can go straight or turn right. This is how you have to position yourself when you are entering a double lane roundabout, two-lane roundabout. Here, two-lane roundabout. is about parking demand, right? These are roadside parking bays. The side of the road is not a busy road where parking can be on road parking can be allowed. This is a shopping area. Right? Now this near a cinema with the parking sign, and it indicates in advance for people coming to the cinema where to park their vehicles. Right? They are called strategic parking signs. These on-street parking signs, right? These signs give what to do. There is only 1 hour parking. 1 hour parking. You can't park your vehicles more than 1 hour, right? But again, you can park it only between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Mondays and Fridays only, right? During weekends, you can't park. Here, vehicles have to face this direction. All these signs has a meaning, right? Vehicles have to face that direction from this point onwards only. You can't park your vehicles on this side. Right? From this point onwards, this side you can park your vehicle. This on-street parking, some pictures. Right? Access and land use. Right? These are clear zones. Along this stretch, you can't park your vehicle. Right? If you park your vehicle will be towed away. Right? This is off-street parking. Right? This is parking area. This is not street parking. So off-street parking, how it has been landscaped, with matching with the aesthetically to be matched with the surrounding area. Right? So parking also can be done aesthetically. This again parking area near a supermarket complex. Right? You have the pedestrian crossings. Then this corner parking reserved for invalids, right? For disabled people. On-street parking. Then these are this multi-story car parks, right? In shopping complexes and all, maybe underground parking. Right? So parking, those areas are numbered, because if you don't number these parking areas, you might find it difficult to locate your car after doing your shopping or whatever the business that you do, and when you come back to find the vehicle, because these are large parking areas, so you have to remember the number when you park the vehicle, right? So this numbering is very important. These are side parking, right? Yeah, parking is being done, vehicle is being. These are huge silos where at different levels vehicles are being parked through this mechanical object. Then these are low-cost parking solutions where you don't have space to park two vehicles. You can have this kind of arrangement where this vehicle can be safely taken down, right? Through a leverage system. Off-street parking. Then parking areas have to be well illuminated for safety. Then carbon dioxide content has to be there, because when you have this kind of underground parking in large parking place and parking bays, there will be a lot of smoke and harmful carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide content inside. So you have to constantly have oxygen supplied in these areas, right? Fresh air supplied to this area. So the vehicle emission has to be controlled. All these things have to be taken care of. Then rural parking, some pictures of different parking environments and different parking arrangements, right? Parking policies, right? You have to have parking policies. Then parking supply has to be supply and demand has to be met with, right? So always parking demand has to be have a good idea about the parking demand, right? and based on that, the supply has to be given. Go through these carefully, right? These are self-explanatory. When you are doing a parking study, at least 6 months into the plan, you have to thoroughly plan it, right? You can't just have a parking plan. You have to plan it, then steadily progress. It has to be well resourced with capable people doing the parking policy. Then carry out for 3 to 5 years on its success. Bus base, next one. These are bus bays. You all know, even on our roads, we have bus bays, right? So areas, special area uh, provided for bus to stop. And it is the people standing in the bus called. So when a bus approaches the bus bay, what the driver should do is they have to properly signal that they are taking it to the left side and take it to the bus bay. Bus bays are only for buses, not for other vehicles, only for buses. Right? So we have the pedestrians here. So the bus comes here, stops here. Then the pedestrians, the people, commuters get into the bus. Then once the commuters get into the bus, then you put the right signal and put back to the lane, right? So busways are for use of buses only. So here, once the vehicle comes to the parking bay where the commuters are standing, right? You have the left-hand signals on, left side signal on. So people get into the bus. Then you have the right signal, right? To shift the signal to the right side to indicate the vehicles coming this direction, to indicate that you want to get back to the running lane. Right? When leaving a busway, the driver should indicate with signals. And once it's indicated with signals and once it's approaching the main lane, these vehicles have to give into the bus. They have to give way for the bus to enter into the lane. Right? This lorry driver has to give way for bus to enter into the main lane. So this is a bus bay. Right? You have the shelter for the commuters, for the passengers. Till the bus comes, they might have to stay in rainy weather or hot sun. So that's a shelter. So when the bus comes here and stops, they get in. Then intersections. We discussed about intersections. Intersections are where two roads cross each other. Right? What are the priorities? So vehicles have priorities at intersections. Now this is very simple intersection where you have only one approach lane and one outgoing lane on all the four roads. So turning right, if you are turning right, if you are coming and turning right, what you should do? You have vehicles coming this way, vehicles coming this way. Right? There's a vehicle coming that way. And this person wants to cross. This person will be going straight. So he has to put his signal lights, right turning light when approaching the intersection. And who has the priority? He is going straight, so he has the priority. Green has the priority, right, over the yellow vehicle. Green vehicle has priority over the yellow vehicle. This has to go, then only he can turn and cross the road. Green has the priority over yellow vehicle. Similarly, if two vehicles are not coming this way, what will happen? Green vehicle from that side, yellow vehicle coming from this side, and it wants to turn this way. So again, like earlier, green has the priority. Green car has priority over yellow. Similarly, the other axis also. Now here, this is a different case. He wants to turn this way, he wants to turn this way. Both wants to enter into this lane. Both are turning. This one is doing left turn, this one is doing right turn. Then who has the priority? green has the priority because he is more closer to that lane. So he has to wait for the green vehicle to turn this way, and then only he can turn this way. Right? So green vehicle is closer to the lane which is being turned. It has the priority. This has to give way for green vehicle to pass. Similarly, this wants to turn that way, this wants to turn that way, same. So the green has the priority. Right? Green has the priority. Same. This one wants to turn this way, this one wants to turn this way. So there are no conflicting movements, right? There's space. He can turn this way at the same time. This person can turn this way. Only thing is you have to indicate with the signals. Otherwise, the drivers will not know what the other drivers planning to do. So if you are indicating with your signals, then very clearly he knows there's no conflict. He will be turning this way and he can turn this way. At the same time, it's very important to have the signals properly. Now, if you want to turn this way and if you have these lights on, then there will be a conflict. He will stop here and he will try to give way for this green vehicle, whereas green vehicles are turning this way. Now, this is very commonly taking place in our roads, right? Sometimes you see a lot of three-wheelers and all with wrong signals. They are turning the right side while putting the signal onto the left side. So it can be very dangerous when you have the wrong direction signals on, especially motorbikes, three-wheelers. We can see very commonly happening on our roads. Again, same story, right? No conflict. If you are coming with the proper signal lights, there's no worries. I mean, the drivers know what the other driver is doing. So you can, without any conflict, you can do your movement. And turning left. He is turning this side and there's a vehicle coming this way. Who has the priority? Because this already it's on the moving lane. So green has priority over yellow. So yellow vehicle has to wait for the green vehicle to pass, and then only the yellow vehicle can get onto that lane. So green has the priority. Now what will happen here? Yellow turns this way, he is coming straight. Again, green has the priority. Right? Yellow can turn only after green pass this place. This one wants to turn this way, this one wants to turn this way. So what happens? Yellow is more closer to the turning lane. So yellow has the priority. Green has to give way for the yellow vehicle to pass first. Right? So yellow has the priority, green has to give way. But in this case, yellow is turning this way, green is turning this way. Yellow has the priority because yellow is more closer to the lane. This has to come through the intersection to get onto that lane. So yellow has the priority. Let's see for better road that you should not do. Some things you should not do when driving. No alcohol, right? Alcohol affects all drivers. Even when people look and act as if they are not affected by alcohol, they cannot drive as well as usual, right? Sometimes people might pretend after taking a couple of drinks that they are the same, but it's not so because your brain is being affected with alcohol. So even though you try to pretend, alcohol has an effect. That's why police is very strict on alcohol drivers, right? Alcoholic drivers. No alcohol before driving. Driving under the influence of alcohol is not an offense, but a crime. Actually, it's a crime because you can end up with nasty, even fatal accidents. People can die because you become overconfident sometimes. Sometimes you think that you can manage, but really you cannot manage. You don't see properly. So it's not an offense, but a crime. Then speed limits. Never exceed the legal speed limit, right? Now, these road signs are on road signs, speed signs are indicated. So you should not overspeed, right? exceed the speed limit that's given assigned to that particular stretch of road. Then mobile phones, no mobile phones while driving, right? Your concentration is somewhere else in your mobile phone. So this can affect your driving concentration. It's an offense to answer or use mobile phones while driving a motor vehicle. It does not matter the mobile phone is hand phone or hand free. Because even hand free, you may be not holding the mobile phone, maybe Bluetooth, but your concentration is affected when you are talking over the phone. So that can affect your driving. You might not see things, immediate hazards. So it's an offense. In our country, of course, you can see a lot of people talking while through Bluetooth and all, but very strictly adhering countries, they don't allow that. Okay. Then the horn, unnecessary horn. You know, it's an offense. It should not make noise pollution, right? I mean, these things are very badly affected in our country, right? Unnecessary horning, tooting the horn, loud horns, etc. In developed countries, you don't see this kind of indiscipline on roads. Right? Then reversing to main roads is an offense. Now, this guy has a driveway and it's reversing to the main road. Do never reverse to the main road. It's an offense. So these are some of the things, right? Whatever brain stimulating your conditions for driving, which can affect your brain, is harmful. Even after an injection, you don't know, and you go for medication and you get an injection, right? You don't know how it will react on your body. So immediately you should not drive. Right? So do not start journey unless you are in fit condition, and do not drive under the influence of alcohol, drugs, fatigue, or emotion. If you are emotionally, if you are very sad, or if you are very angry, I mean, you should not immediately get into the driving seat and drive a vehicle. It can be dangerous. It can, innocent people on road can get affected, right? Now, three-wheelers. Let's see some three-wheelers, right? These are very common on our roads, right? Some of the things. Popular in certain South Asian developing countries such as Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and India. This mode of transport has evolved as a low-cost solution to the transportation problem in this area. Improved economic conditions and higher aspirations of poor. Chances to own a motorized vehicle. So those are the plus points for approving three-wheelers. Significant improvement in the number of motorized trishaws in the country due to its comparatively low cost and free availability. Three-wheelers are very cheap compared to cars and all, right? So you can see the three-wheeler and three-wheeler growth compared to other vehicles. Right? How it has increased. This by told things are different now, right? What are the advantages? Advantages of three-wheelers. Use as a self-employment mode. Employment through spare parts and repairs. Claim to be the cheapest mode of private motorized transport while protecting the passengers from sun and rain. Used as an escape vehicle, can pass through narrow corridors and congested traffic, but by violating the traffic rules. So, I mean, you see three-wheelers overtaking. If you are driving a vehicle, a car or a van or something, you can see three-wheelers overtaking you from sides. So, like escape vehicle. So, all these are traffic violations. I mean, they are violating the traffic rules, right? So, what are the bad things about three-wheelers? Used for crimes. Police records have shown that three wheels have been extensively used as getaway vehicles after committing crimes. Unsteady due to three-wheel arrangement. These are very unsteady vehicles. Light side knock will topple the three-wheel and end up with a big accident, even with a fatal accident. Then unstable and unprotected. Hence, unsafe as a passenger carrying vehicle because you have a resin-like cover. It's not metallic cover like other vehicles, right? If it overturns, so it can end up very nasty. The people inside can end up with severe injuries. Operator is seated at the middle, hence tends to drive between two lanes. Why these three-wheelers are mostly driven between uh, two lanes? Because the operator is seated at the middle. Operator has the best vision when you are between two lanes. So automatically operators tend to come within two lanes. Violation of basic road rules due to its maneuverability. Right? It can be turned on the spot. Its turning circle is very less compared to other vehicles. So it can do a lot of mischievous things. Right? Then pollution caused due to unburned two-stroke engines. Excessive noise, very noisy. So if you take the three-wheeler, these are the dimensions, right? From this uh, front headlight to the rear, 2.72 meters or 272 centimeters. The width is about 145 centimeters. So it's more like a peg. Shape is more like a peg, not a rectangle like other vehicles. So what happens? Now this the driver visibility. Driver is here, right? There's another vehicle in front of the driver. It's a lorry. So this is the visible area the driver can see in a car or something like that, right? Driver can see this properly. Now driver can see this oncoming bus from fair distance. What happens with the three-wheeler? A properly disciplined three-wheeler going behind the truck. What will happen? His visibility is this area. But if he gets to the middle of the road, his visibility is very high. So naturally, three-wheeler drivers will tend to move from 2 to 3 because they have better visibility. So because the driver is at the middle, these vehicles tend to get a better visibility, tend to go in between two lanes and overtake the vehicles. So that is the problem with the three-wheelers because this driving position. Because of the driving position, you can't expect three-wheeler drivers to go disciplinedly behind other vehicles, like other disciplined vehicles. So they tend to go in between two lanes and chaos create trouble. That's why even the motor bicycles also the same. They like to travel in between two lanes because their visibility is much higher because they are seated at the middle. So now whether we like it or not, I mean on Sri Lankan roads, we have to accept this fact. So we will never end up with lane discipline on Sri Lankan roads. If you allow three-wheelers and motorcycles to go on our roads. That's why on expressways, motorcycles and three-wheelers are not allowed. If you allow motorcycles and three-wheelers on expressways, then the same thing is going to happen. Lane discipline is not going to take place. So what happens? Earlier also I showed you when a three-wheeler comes at the middle, a small Maruti car or something like that will follow, a little bit bigger car will follow that. And automatically another lane will open up, even though the road is marked for two lanes only. So then what happens is here, this area becomes accident prone. Right? So actually the three-wheeler doesn't have any effect. It's at the front, it will escape. So some two other vehicles might rush each other. So that is the bad thing. The real mischief maker is escaped, but two other vehicles have met with an accident. Again, we know lane jumping, which is bad. It is maybe an intersection or something. People are disciplinedly waiting in between each other, behind each other, and you have these lane jumpers. When you have lane jumpers, what will happen? There are vehicles coming from the other side, so there's a conflict in this area. So unnecessary accident might take place because of this lane jumper. Okay. Now three-wheelers are very common, right? They very commonly do it. See the chaos that it's causing. We know because all of us we have seen this. Because since they can perform 90-degree turns on the spot, so the whole discipline is violated. So you have accident-prone areas all over the road, right? Here, lane jumping, right? Now these are stop sign. Vehicles are properly stopped to get their chance of entering onto the main road. So you have three-wheelers coming from the right-hand side and overtaking. Coming and overtaking, right? So, so these are things, common things that are happening in our country. So this is the indiscipline on our roads. Here, see, these are some of the common things that I have shown, right? When you do these things, all of a sudden three-wheelers come and try to scrape through these vehicles or the parked vehicles, right? So it will create bad situations. Doing 90, 180-degree turns on the spot, right? All this area becomes accident prone. Then going on shoulders, right? You have the shoulder of the road for people to move. It's for pedestrians to go, not for vehicles to go. But you see very often three-wheelers going on shoulders, right? Damaging the shoulders as well as causing a lot of nuisance to the pedestrians. Yeah, these shoulders are for pedestrians, but you see vehicles, three-wheelers taking the pedestrians area. So we will never have this kind of discipline arrangement if you allow three-wheelers and motorcycles to fly on our roads. Right? You can't expect. So these are some of the conflicts that can take place, right, from pedestrians' point of view. On roads, you can expect children, right? Children all of a sudden coming behind a wall or something like that, jumping onto the road. Then you have jaywalkers. Jaywalkers are people who walk on the road, on the carriageway. They are being called as jaywalkers, right? You all should know that the meaning of that term. Jaywalking is when you see people walking on the carriageway of the road, they are being called jaywalkers, right? That's an accepted uh, terminology. So that is jaywalkers. Then you have animals. Sometimes you have dogs and all dogs, cattle on the carriageway. Then you have elderly people, very feeble people, very slowly walking across the roads and all. So these are some of the conflicts that can happen between vehicles and pedestrians. So there are people now in developed countries, you have this, which are called shared zones, where vehicles and pedestrians both can share in shopping malls and all, right? Where vehicles are allowed to segregate, vehicles are not segregated from pedestrians. So design pedestrians for mixed traffic, right? Separation, time and space. So now these are shared zones where vehicles as well as pedestrians can go safely. In shared zones, vehicles are supposed to travel at very low speeds, right? Between 10 kilometers, 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. So when you are doing, you have to designing roads and vehicles, you have to think about the physically affected people, right? Disabled people. There are people, blind people. Then physically, disabled people who are on wheelchairs, etc. So all these categories have to take into account when you are designing roads for pedestrians. Then road crossings around intersections, how to make pedestrians cross safely. Then different types of pedestrian crossings. There are zebra crossings, which all of you know. You can see on all roads, common zebra crossings. Then pelican crossings. Pelican crossings are zebra crossings with uh, signalized crossing facilities where you push the button and wait for the green signal to appear, and when the green signal comes, you cross safely. Then it automatically becomes red after a while. Then the vehicles will be passing that place. Again, if you want to cross, you have to push a button and wait for your green signal to come. Signalized crossings at intersections and all, you have signalized crossings. Then overpasses, overhead bridges. You all know we have a lot of overhead bridges in our country. Then underpasses, tunnels, like the Candy underpass, then Coral underpass, where you have tunnel kind of area to cross very heavy roads. Then raised platforms, right, where the crossing is raised from the carriageway level. Then I will show you a picture of a raised platform. Then flag operated crossings, where near schools and all you have assigned sometimes school children, senior school children, with the cooperation of the police. You have a flag and you stop the vehicles, and during school opening and closing hours, you have that kind of arrangements near schools. Right? Now these are zebra crossings. Why you call zebra? Because it's like the zebra skin. You have the black and white stripes, right? That's a zebra crossing. Then pelican crossing. Pelican crossing is you can't just cross. You have the push button arrangement here. You push the button and wait for your green signal to appear. When the green walking man appears on the signal, the light, then you cross it. Then after a while, then the vehicles have to be stopped. The vehicles will be stopped with the red light on the main road. So you cross safely, and then after a while, this becomes red and this becomes green. Those are called pelican crossings, right? Where this push button arrangement is there at the crossing. Otherwise, it will be a zebra crossing if we didn't have this signalized system installed here. Then they can have zebra type of road marking, carriageway marking, and make it a zebra crossing. So this is more safer in a way. These are signalized crossings where you have signalized, and it's a traffic intersection where you have signalized crossing arrangement near intersections. Then overpasses, right, or overhead bridges, right? There's a freeway, and you have this pedestrian overpass, overhead bridge. You can see even blind people can walk safely on such overhead bridges, because you are not interacted with vehicles. You are completely grade separated from the oncoming traffic. Then raised platforms, which I showed you here, it's like a zebra crossing, but only thing is the platform is raised a little bit with a ramp and flat arrangement. Here it's more safer because the drivers can see the pedestrians from far. And the other thing is you can't just, drivers will always have to slow down because there's a raised hump like here, flat hump here. Because if you drive fast, you will be in difficulty, and you might even end up with accident even, right? So these safer raised platforms are safer than zebra crossings, because one thing is pedestrian is well seen. Pedestrian can see the vehicles better, and vehicles automatically all the vehicles have to slow down because of this raised platform. Then near schools, you can have this kind of warning sign, and during the school starting hours and ending hours, you can have school prefects or school senior students with the support of the police having a flag arrangement, stop the vehicles and allow small children to cross the road. Those are the different types of pedestrian crossings. Then roads have to be designed for cyclists as well, not only for vehicles. So you can have cycle roads, right? Cycle tracks, etc. So I'll take you through some slides. So these are the design standards for cyclists, right? So these are the minimum space that you have provided for cycle process, right? So you can have cycle lanes here. The carriageway, vehicle carriageway length is 0.3, 0.5 to 3.75 like, and you can have 3 meters for the cycle lanes, right? Where vehicles are not supposed to go on cycle lanes. Cycle lanes are exclusively for cycles. They are very safe, right? In cycle lanes, sometimes you can allow both directions, going forward and going in the opposite direction, right? In such cases, these are the minimum clearances that you have to keep. There are design standards for bicycle pathways and cycle lanes. Sometimes cycle lanes can be shared with pedestrians as well. Right? Pedestrians walk and at the same time cyclists also use the same lane. Here a cycle lane, right? Cyclists on cycle lane. Those are some of the pictures of cycle lanes. Then freeways, you all know these, right? Show you freeways. Here, dual carriageway freeway, right? 3 lanes on each direction. 3 lanes of vehicles from, going that way, and 3 lanes of vehicles coming this way. And you have the emergency lane at the corner, right? If you meet with the tire puncture or some defect in your vehicle, you have to pull your vehicle to the emergency lane, right? When you have 3-lane arrangement, these are for slower vehicles, right? These are for medium vehicles, and these for overtaking lane. The center lane is for fast vehicles to overtake, etc. In our country, we don't have expressways, dual carriageway with 3 lanes. We have 2-lane dual carriageway. Here again 3 lanes. Right? And you have another interchange or something like that crossing the road, right? Or a road across the freeway. Freeways are divided roads with 4 or more lanes. Right? It can be 4 or more lanes. Right? Now this is a 6-lane divided 6-lane road. These are the characteristics, right, of freeways: high speed, high level of service, primary role economic development to reduce travel time and cost, because freeways are fast, your travel time is saved, right? So it will have the time and it will have the time saving when you travel on freeways, and as well as the fuel will be saved, right? Fuel vehicles fuel usage will be less on freeways. Construction and maintenance cost is high. That's another thing. Construction cost is very high. So effect on the environment. When you are doing a freeway, the environment can be completely affected, right? There's a stream here. If you are taking the freeway across this stream, right? If you are going to design a new freeway, right? It will completely change the aesthetics, the environment. You will have free road, like free expressway like this, and you have massive structure here, bridge, and going like this. So environment, that aesthetic will be greatly affected. So let's say if it's a paddy field area, and if you are going to take a freeway like this, so the whole area is going to be completely changed. And there will be conflicts with the livelihood of and the pattern of this village. Let's say this paddy field area will be completely divided into 2, right? Only at the allowed spaces, places where people will be able to go from this side to that side. The community will be totally divided into 2 sides. Right here, now we have a freeway like this in a very peaceful area. This area and this area, earlier it was just a matter of crossing like this. But now you can't. A person in this area, to go to a person in this area, you have to kick round, right? Through where it's allowed only, you can cut across. So this carriageway can be single or dual. Now this is a single carriageway. This is just one, right? Single carriageway freeway. This is a dual carriageway freeway. Where the carriageway is divided and it's in 2. There are 2 carriageways for this side vehicles and for oncoming vehicles, right? So that's the difference between single carriageway and dual carriageway. Here it's one single carriageway. Here it's two dual carriageway. Then you have interchanges. Only from interchanges that vehicle can enter onto the freeway or exit from the freeway. So interchanges are grade separated. Grade separated means they have two different levels. Vehicles accelerate onto the freeway, decelerates out of the freeway. When you are entering the freeway, you have to speed up and enter into the freeway speed, right, from slower speeds. So you have to accelerate your engine. Similarly, if you are getting out from freeway, you have to decelerate. You have to brake your vehicle, right, gradually and slow down your vehicle and get into the slower roads. Then type determined by topography of the land availability, right? Depending on the topography, the interchange type will vary. So there are different types of interchanges: trumpet, diamond, cloverleaf, etc. These are at-grade intersections. At-grade intersections means vehicles cross the two roads at the same level. They are not grade separated. They are not of two different levels. There is grade separation. Yeah, vehicles cross each other at different levels. These are called grade separated. They are at grade intersections. So interchanges, lesser roads should pass over freeways. When you're having freeways, if you have a lot of interchanges very close to each other, then the expected speed, it will be difficult to maintain. So you should have interchanges at really necessary points only, at least 10, 15, 20 kilometers away from one interchange to another. These are the different types of interchanges, right? Diamond interchange, partial cloverleaf interchange, cloverleaf interchange, and trumpet type interchange. Here, a diamond type interchange, right? This is a partial cloverleaf interchange. This is a cloverleaf interchange, most beautiful one. This is a trumpet type interchange. So you should be able to identify different types of interchanges, right? Depending on their layout structure. Of these interchanges, grade separation can be done even for streams. Here in Germany, right? In West Germany, here two ferry boat riding canals are grade separated. Right? These are crossing this river at a high elevation, and at the same time, you have the mainstream at a low elevation. So grade separation has been done even for water transportation. Now the traditional freeway characteristics. Some of the characteristics that you can see on freeways, right? You all are familiar, you know. Superior geometric design. Geometric design is high standard than normal roads. Then sufficient vertical clearance, right? You have vertical clearance. That means the clearance vertically, what you don't have overhead bridges and all with narrow clearances, right? So, I mean, your vertical clearance is very high on freeways. Then emergency phones installed on shoulders, right? If something happens, right, a vehicle breakdown or something, you should be able to report it to the nearest station to get help. So you have to have mobile, have this phone in books. Or now, of course, since mobile phones are there with everybody, you don't need this, right? You have the mobile phone, you have a number given 1969 or something like that. So you can phone in an emergency. Then road lighting on interchanges. Interchanges should be very lit. Their vehicles are very clearly seen at night time. Use vertical deflating barriers to protect out the controlled vehicles. So you have to have these barriers right along the road to protect vehicles going over the road to out of the road. Right? When you have vehicle barriers, vehicles are protected and they are kept on the road without allowing them to, because you are driving at high speeds. If you go over, if you skid and if you go over the road, you will fly off from the road depending on the location, right? Then lane marking and signing done properly. Very carefully, the lane marking and signing has to be done very accurately, and it has to be very accurate. It's an overpass. In traditional freeway characteristics, signposting must be of high quality. Destination should be very clearly indicated, where to turn off, where this exit is, this, towns that are nearby from that exit. All those indications should be very clearly given to the drivers well in advance before entering into the intersection. Before entering the intersection, you should know before coming to the exit point what this exit point is, what are the towns that you can reach through this exit point, etc., etc. Then environmental aspects, right? It should be aesthetically nice. Then noise consideration should be taken care of, right? So water quality concerns, all that is very important when you are designing a freeway. Some special concerns, speed concerns influence all aspects of design, right? Freeways means high speed, so all the speed regulations have to be very clearly adhered to. Capacity determination, right? Then weather is a problem. In adverse weather, in rainy weather, what are the speeds that you have to maintain, etc. Those information. Then the road surface should be able to act safely in rainy conditions, right? Then maintenance should be minimized, because all the time you can't maintain expressways because there are a lot of vehicles that traveling at high speeds. So maintenance should be, minimum. Not that you are going to neglect the road surface, but road surface should be designed of high quality where you don't have to maintain frequently. Then should have future expansion. Sometimes the road capacity might exceed. If that happens, another introduction of another lane. So provision for that kind of things should be designed well in advance, right? Why speed is important? Or just looking at this now, this blue vehicle is traveling at 60 kilometers per hour. You can bring it to a total stoppage if you pedal on the brake very hard, but even then it will travel 67 meters. If the speed is increased by 10 kilometers per hour, so this is going to be more than 67. It might be about 80. 80 means if you have a truck like this, when you are at 60, you can safely without hitting the truck, you can bring the vehicle to a total stoppage. Whereas this additional 10 kilometers per hour is going to hit the vehicle. So you can imagine if the freeway speed is 100 kilometers or 110 kilometers, what this braking distance is going to be. It will be massive. So that's why you have to be very careful, very carefully design the road where when you are designing a road for high speeds, because you can't bring the vehicle to a stoppage in a shorter distance. So definitely it's going to hit whatever the obstacle that you come across for a quite a distance. Right? So we have to be mindful of that. Say if we have a kangaroo or like something like that, it's in Australia, you know, a lot of kangaroos, a big animal on the road. So depending on the speed and the visibility, if it's during night, right, seeing distance has to be proper to avoid this danger area. You should be able to stop the vehicle, right? If you have a huge animal, a buffalo or somebody, a cow or a bull or a kangaroo or whatever, right? Supposed to be crossing the road. So if your stopping distance is less, you are going to hit the vehicle. You are going to hit the obstacle. So you can go through this, right? These are toll booths, which all of us are now very familiar with, right? you have to pay. When you are going on freeways, you have to have a buy your electronic card and pay it in advance, or you can pay it manually. So if you are paying it manually, it will cause a delay because you have to stop and produce the ticket and provide the money and get the receipt. It will take some time. But if you have paid it electronically, then of course automatically the gate will open. If your card is credited, gate will open and it will allow you to go without any delay. So those are the advantages in electronic gates. These are this overhead clearance which we were talking of, right? On freeways, you have this overhead vertical clearance higher than other roads, right? Whatever, I mean, this can be a destination board or informative sign or lighting sign or camera, speed cameras, whatever the structure, it has to be quite high compared to other road clearances. I think we have come to the end of our time, 12:45, automatically it's going to stop. So I will stop for the day, and you can so I will stop for the day. I will upload this day school on your learner USL. All can watch it. Those who have missed the class or day school, they also can watch it, since it will be uploaded on the learner USL. Thank you very much.